365 Days plot holes, Massimo and Laura's characters. There's no denying that we've all been obsessed with Netflix's super erotic film 365 Days. The Polish movie that has been released on Netflix on June 7, starring Michele Morrone and Anna Maria Sieklucka, has made its debut in the #1 spot on Netflix's top 10 movies list. And we're talking a lot of viewers. It's become the first movie on the streaming service to have 2 multi-day periods as the #1 film in the US since the chart was introduced in February with the virtually zero promotion and, well, less than stellar reviews. Not only that, but it's made it into the top 3 most viewed projects in 26 other countries. Clearly, it's tapped into something that quarantined audiences have been craving, whether they know it or not. It's those very scenes that have turned the film's stars into internet sensations practically overnight. 365 Days was originally released in Poland in February, where its success was nothing compared to the global frenzy it would generate once it landed on Netflix. Let's take a quick recap about the movie before digging in with the main part of the video. Despite of Laura's successful career, she is always ignored by her boring boyfriend that leads her to make her own sexual fantasies. One day when she woke up, she found herself in a huge mansion with a very handsome and very rich man named Massimo. Laura was surprised when Massimo told her that he saw her 5 years ago. His father was shot to death and the bullet went through his body, and Laura was the last girl he saw before he almost died. Since then, he is searching for her all over the world, but no to avail, until he saw her at the airport. Massimo asked her to stay with him for 365 days to fall in love with him, but Laura refused because he is a stranger and he kidnapped her. But Massimo told her that if she will not fall in love with him, he will set her free. Laura has no choice but to stay with him. She tried not to fall in love with him, but Massimo is a temptation and a very dangerous man. Neither Sieklucka nor Morrone seem especially fazed by the attention being paid to their impossibly beautiful bodies. While the actors felt well taken care of during filming, a contingency of viewers have walked away from 365 Days concerned with what the very popular film has put out into the world. Multiple Change.org petitions have been created, each asking Netflix to remove the film from its library on the basis that it glorifies human trafficking, Stockholm Syndrome, and sexual assault. For a movie that reached millions and millions of people, it is a sure thing that many opinions will fly by, including bad ones. Since the movie was released, it was obvious that some parts of the movie characters were kind of missing or incomplete. We don't deny the fact that the movie was a huge success, and we personally are fans of it. But nothing's wrong with putting a finger on some things in the movie, and we're sure you've thought the exact same thing. You'll figure out what I mean in a second. Let's get started with the first mystery. #1, who was that woman Massimo was watching on the beach? This introduction scene was quite confusing, quite frankly. We catch him using binoculars to spy on an unsuspecting woman at the beach yards away with a first look at the hair-raising lengths Massimo is willing to go for love. It's still a little unclear, despite magically dreaming up a vision of Laura seconds later after being shot on several rewatches, but it seems like Laura was indeed the random beach woman. That's confusing because Laura never brings up later in the movie that she was on the beach that day. Plus, what was she doing on that beach if she can't swim? Let's not forget the scene where she falls off the boat and mighty Massimo saves her from drowning. #2, didn't Laura witness that 2 men got shot right above her? Moments later, Massimo's dad got tragically shot and killed. With Massimo caught in the crossfire, was Laura not a witness to this horrific murder seeing as she was just hanging out nearby? And second, how was Massimo's dad shot? Because they were on the rooftop of a super old castle on the Mediterranean coastline in the middle of nowhere in Italy. There didn't seem to be a building for miles, so the sniper just appeared out of thin air? #3, what exactly is Laura's job and why are her staff meetings so aggressive? After the 5-year jump, we see both Laura and Massimo in their own dimly lit boardroom scenes. Now Massimo's meeting can be understood. He is, as we know, a mafia boss. But what is Laura's job for her to be in such a similar high-drama situation? The film itself doesn't ever really tell us, but because 365 Days is based on a book, we know that she is a sales executive for a luxury hotel. Also, if Laura is so powerful in her role and she's that important to the company's growth, why is she able to stop working without any notice after she gets kidnapped? #4, what a memory Massimo has. Massimo's first sighting of Laura was followed up by a bullet to the chest and the death of his father. He saw her for no more than a minute from yards away. 5 years later, Massimo recognizes Laura at the airport. It's unrealistic that he would remember a random moment after such a long period of time. The trauma he faced right after their meeting gives more reason for his memories to be unreliable. If he does have the ability to remember everything he sees, one would expect it to come up more than once. And also, is it that strong to get a painter and get him to paint the exact image of Laura without missing a single point? How did he even describe her features that precisely? Number 5. Can Massimo teleport? Massimo manages to follow Laura through empty streets without her detecting his presence. There are no audible footsteps, so we can't blame her for being unaware. He also has the uncanny ability to predict where she'll be at all times, except for that time where he misplaced her for 5 years. The day that Laura got kidnapped, she took a sudden right turn, and there he was, waiting. Unless he has undisclosed superpowers, he must spend all his time waiting in dark alleys for pretty girls to pop in. Number 6. Laura could have called for help. Laura commands Massimo to return her phone so that she can call her mom. He doesn't listen in on the conversation or leave men to spy for him. Laura is free to say anything she wants. This is when she should probably mention the fact that she's been kidnapped in a foreign country. Instead, Laura calmly states that everything is fine. This occurs long before she comes to accept her situation. Soon after the scene, she attempts to escape Massimo on foot again, making her actions at the time all the more confusing. Number 7. Laura forgives murder before she forgives cheating. The whole thing about the abduction is justification enough to dislike Massimo. It should have raised more questions about watching him shoot his own cousin in the head. Seems Laura doesn't mind though. For an average woman, she comes to embrace cohabitation very easily with a murderous roommate. Evidence of an affair is all it takes, however, for her to drop her ex. Under normal conditions, fully comprehensible, the thoughtless Martin was never a great boyfriend, yet it seems like a big step up from becoming a drug dealer murderer. Number 8. And why did Laura let Martin follow her all the way home from the club just to reject him? There is absolutely no way that Laura could have left without Martin. She could have told the bouncers to stop Martin from following her, or if she got an Uber home, which she most likely did, why didn't she just let him in the car? Plus her apartment looks quite expensive actually, so surely she has security man doors or a key fob to get in. Why not stop him there? Why bring himself all the way to your front door before you tell him to leave? Number 9. Where did the people that were on the boat go when Massimo and Laura were having their most famous scene on the movie? Just before Laura flipped off the side of the yacht, Massimo and Mario were having a serious conversation about the impacts of Massimo's decision to literally shoot off a rival's hands for being touchy with Laura in the club. After Laura wakes up from her near-death experience, she and Massimo make up with some very intimate scenes inside and outside the boat. But considering that they were in the middle of the ocean, it's never explained where Mario or the other people steering the boat have gone.